What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Whispers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Nick.
That's right, he's Nick. And today, what are we trying today?
Widow Jane.
Do we know anything about Widow Jane?
Not a lot.
Really?
It is made in New York, though.
Oh, okay.
I think this is the first whiskey we've had that's from New York,
Interesting.
or a New York distillery. American oak barrel, pure limestone mineral water, and it's a bourbon, aged 10 years. Small batch. It says they only do 5 barrel batches.
Oh,
So, and on the front here you can see the batch number, bottle number, and the date that it was packaged, I guess.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Has a very dark caramely color to it.
Yeah, almost mapley.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a more brownish color.
Now, do you think
Rich
that
brown color.
makes it more distinct in flavor, maybe full-bodied because of the color? Or does that really not really matter?
As far as enhancing the flavor,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, if it's aged 10 years, I mean, the way it's dark.
yeah, I mean, typically from what we've seen, the more it's been aged, the darker in general the color seems to be, but not always necessarily. So,
And we've actually had some dark bourbons that we're like, ooh, this could be interesting, and it's really smooth. So,
yeah, I think bourbon overall is my favorite just because it uses more corn than other whiskeys, but I mean, I can enjoy pretty much anything.
yeah. Yeah. Except for, some really peaty, very,
Yes.
smoky.
We're not on the peat level yet.
Yeah.
So don't
We're
get
in
mad at us.
We're
for
like
that.
peat level 1, I think.
Peat level 1. It actually has a dark wood cap on it, which I think kind of matches the aesthetic
Oh,
of
that's
the
nice.
whiskey itself. So
Ooh.
no burn on the scent, and
No.
it smells very, very rich, almost decadent in a way.
Yeah. So I'm getting off the cork, too. It's pretty. Yeah, that does smell really good.
Mm.
So we did chill this bottle prior.
Yeah, don't judge us for that either.
Yeah.
It
But-
was my fault. I mean, really, you can enjoy whiskey so many different ways, and it really is down to personal preference. I like to chill my whiskey. I just think it mellows out the harshness of the alcohol just enough that you can really enjoy the flavor profile better. And we are using the official tasting glasses for whiskey.
That is. It appears. It's got a film all the way around when you swirl it in your glass.
Yes, and I've noticed that it does not, the residue sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other whiskeys we've tried, the residue will start to
Yeah.
go down the glass after you swirl it, but this one seems to stick very, very well, which means it probably has a nice full body to it.
Mm-hmm. Now it's got some leg to it, so that's good. So we'll,
Opaqueness level, it's definitely not crystal clear. It's got a cloudy aspect to it.
Mhm. And that's not because the whiskey was chilled either. It's even if it wasn't chilled, it would still be.
Yeah, it's not as transparent as not even the last whiskey we had. That was very clear. Like I could see you crystal clear through that bottle.
The nose, I'm picking up some woodiness for
Definitely
sure.
some woodiness.
Yeah, you can really smell the oak in it. Doesn't smell sweet or anything like that, but
It smells just full.
Yeah.
If that makes it like it's just gonna have a nice punchiness to it.
mhm. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not picking up anything else other than the wood smell to it, which isn't a bad thing. So if you like a woody type bourbon, this is probably going to be for you.
Yeah, it's woody sweet, I'd say.
You're picking up sweetness? I'm really not.
It's
Maybe
that-
got a hint of sweetness.
almost a mapley
Yeah.
mapleness to it. Definitely a lot of wood though.
I think that's what is overpowering everything is just the wood.
You know what that reminds me of?
Huh.
So even before I taste, I like to just smell it, and sometimes I'll get an image in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And the image I just got in my head was barbecue ribs.
Barbecue ribs?
Barbecue ribs, like
What the what?
like sweet ribs, you know,
Like baby back ribs?
like baby back ribs. That's what
I
I got.
don't know about that one.
That's what I got. No, that's
interesting.
seriously. That's exact. I did it again, and trust. That's exactly what I'm picking up. Like that's just boom right in my head. Popped right in there.
That's interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I smell more like I'm in someone's wood shop, and they've cut a really nice piece of oak, and you have that smell to it.
I'm thinking like
Carolina ribs, or are we talking Kansas City ribs? What are we talking here?
like sweet ribs.
So okay, so
I don't know where they'd come from, but I've had sweet ribs, and this smells like how those smell when they're on a wood pellet grill. That's what it smells like.
That's interesting.
Wood pellet grill, barbecue, sweet ribs.
That's interesting. It's just now dripping down the sides of my.
Yep, just now.
Yeah,
You can
so
see
you
it.
can tell that's pretty full bodied.
It's gonna have a nice full body to it.
Yep. You ready?
Ready?
All right.
A little bit of peppery spice.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a nice smokiness. Not a peatiness, but a smokiness.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a difference.
It's not a char smokiness
No.
like you're drinking a campfire, but
It's like bark on pork ribs.
great. Now everybody's gonna be like
Delicious. I would eat these I would drink this with ribs. Next time I have ribs, I'm buying this bottle because that's
just to pair it with
Pair
it.
it.
Yeah. It does have a long finish. You can feel it all the way down.
I'm feeling it. Like I'm actually feeling it all the way down here.
Yep.
Down almost basically to my gut. So.
It's not a burn, but it has a little bit of peppery
Peppery
feel to it.
spice.
Yeah.
No burn though. Really no burn.
And
It's incredibly smooth.
yeah, and actually up front, you don't really get a whole lot, but in the mouth, you start to really taste the flavors. And then the finish, it's got a long peppery finish. That's what I'm picking up. But as far as flavors, there is a little bit of vanilla.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I think
like vanilla.
I think that's kind of like the go-to thing that
I
a lot
know.
of
We don't want to
distillers
just
do.
keep saying vanilla, but
Yeah.
I mean it does have a sort of vanilla-ness to it.
Yeah, and a lot of distillers will use vanilla because that is pretty distinctive in their processes, whether they make it bolder in vanilla or very subtle. And I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record when I say, oh, it tastes like vanilla, but there's just a very fine hint of it. It's not overpowering. It's not, you have to really kind of search for it in the palate.
No. It's got a sweet finish.
Mm-hmm.
Peppery spice up front, and just in the lingering after you swallow, I think there's a bit of that.
Yeah.
But as it's going down, it rolls through your mouth and it finishes sweet.
Yeah, and actually, it's kind of interesting because the aftertaste tastes more of the vanilla. You start to taste more of the vanilla in it, which is weird because going down and you don't taste it, and then at the aftertaste you're like, oh, so it's kind of an interesting kind of.
Tasted exactly like how I imagined it would taste.
Pork ribs.
Like smoky
Smoky
pork
ribs. Under-
like a beautiful glaze
Yeah.
on those ribs.
Oh boy.
And there definitely is a heaviness to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got that full body taste.
Really
to it.
full.
Yeah, so it's kind of. It almost seems like it's a heavier whiskey or bourbon, but.
Yeah,
it's-
I may not drink. This may be more of like just a little sipper I have, with like a good dinner or something.
Yeah.
Or like an after dinner treat.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Just because of how the heaviness of it, I probably wouldn't go as ham on this as I might another whiskey. But that has nothing to do with its flavor or anything. It's just it's like a stout beer versus a blonde ale or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they're just different.
Yep. All in all, what would you rate this?
I really like it a lot. Honestly, there's no burn. The flavor I just really like the flavor profile. I wasn't thinking I'd give this score again so soon, but I think I'm gonna give it a 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's up there.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
All right. Well, I'm going to be more of a harsh critic because I always think there's always room for improvement on our whiskeys and bourbons and scotches. So
Yeah, 9 out of 10. It's not perfect.
Yeah, you got 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Maybe one day there'll be a 5 out there, but we'll see.
We'll see. I think I'm going to be very choosy if it's to give it a 5.
Very choosy.
I think I'm going to give it a 4. Just because,
Respectful.
I mean it's a good bourbon. It's full bodied. There's some good flavor, and I agree. I think it's a really good sipping whiskey, and yeah, I would say a 4 for sure.
I really like it.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the rating scale, we have a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being spot on, perfect, to 1 being ooh, never again. So
Not for us.
Yeah, not for us. So, but don't take our word for it. We definitely want you to go out, buy a bottle of this, try it for yourself, see what you think.
And if you can, find a bottle from batch number 259, because
Yeah.
that's what this is.
Yep. But I mean, each bottle, each distillery is different, and their flavor profiles, and you might like certain whiskey that we don't. And that's okay, because everybody has their own opinion, and that's what it's all about.
And honestly, with small batch whiskeys, they tend to roll out a lot of different batches, and they may even mark them differently. So a batch, let's say you kind of liked a whiskey that you tried, and it was a small batch release, but it wasn't like that, like it didn't resonate with you in particular. But another batch might roll out. Like go back to whiskeys that you may have tried if they are in small batch releases, because a different batch may have a different flavor profile that you might like better. So,
Yeah. No, and again, we always encourage you to drink responsibly and make sure that, you go out there and try different whiskeys, see what you like, and be adventurous. There might be some distilleries out there that you might like, or you're like, ones that are like, oh, it's just not my cup of tea, and that's okay. Like I said, it's an adventure and an experience each time you try a bottle. So get out there and try some awesome things, and like and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you, and we will be bringing more content here soon. We're going to start doing some series of different types of whiskeys, bourbons and scotches, and so we're pretty excited to do that. We're going to try some cheap stuff versus some expensive things eventually. And then also we're going to tour all of the scotches in the different parts of Scotland. So stay tuned with us, because we're bringing you some awesome content here soon. From that, I think we're going to call it good. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
That's actually pretty good.